Oh. This is about my 6th attempt to get on tonight. There's so many multiple invites, and every time I try and join via an invite, it says the host is hosting another meeting.
Well, you're here now, so.
Ah, yes, but expect delays on everybody else's part because that's just the way today's going.
Sure.
The other bit in the CML newsletter was CML
Right.
Special Highway Committee awards 1.9 million in off-system bridge grants. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
I didn't know if we had more than the 22nd Street Bridge.
That would be eligible. The one, and it would need an engineer's recommendation on it, would be on the 11th Street Bridge because of that seed on the inspection. There was a hole, but it's way towards the edge. I mean, it's basically on the where pedestrians walk. It's not where anybody drives, but unless they want to rub the guardrail.
Sure.
But that would be, something that could qualify. But we should have an engineer's recommendations, I would think. If
Okay.
I look into that. I'm talking with Clay Brown tomorrow, hopefully, DOLA, so I can ask him about that, because I was asking him about now I forgot what I asked him for, a grant on something else. So can bring him up and ask him about details.
Marvelous.
I will ask to add one staff item.
Okay.
Have the police talk about what's happening with the vehicles lately around town. So Randy will speak on it. And then I didn't know if we wanted to speak regarding the ballot issue or not. I know it wasn't listed on the agenda. Just to talk in general regarding that.
I think it's more important right now to make a pitch for candidates for the board.
Okay. And there's Randy. I said his name too many times.
Yeah.
It came up. So.
Oh, I turned this thing off.
I don't know if it helps or not.
Hi, guys.
Hi there,
Tim here.
Tim.
Is that Mary Sims or Mary Smith?
It's Mary Smith.
Okay, thank you.
I walked away. Of course, you're going to ask me a question when I'm halfway across the room.
Sorry.
That's okay. Ta-da!
There she is.
Up, gone in 60 seconds. Why?
Less than that.
That's right. Fast and more furious. Greetings, everyone.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Mary.
I can't tell which is going to be better. One, two, three. We need one more. And there he goes up the stairs. And da, 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 that's not. Oh, I think I deleted it, didn't I? Yes, I did. Need one more selectman. I had a little trouble getting on. I don't know about you guys, but I kept trying to use the wrong link.
Oh, we don't have a quorum.
No, we don't have a quorum yet. We need one more.
6:01.
I know.
You
We
won't
don't
get
have the
paid
night
tonight,
off, do
Rob.
we? Because I canceled my skydiving lesson tonight.
And we certainly appreciate it.
We could sign in on another computer and then be two people in one place.
But
And
I
then
can
we'd
wear
have
a
a
wig in
quorum.
one.
There
and
you
be
go.
bald in the other.
Rob 1 and Rob 2.
It's like
Thing
thing
one, thing two.
We're
Jerry,
cool.
I don't think I got Kent's evaluation. Shh, he can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes.
My video went off. I'll fix it. I had Winona call everyone. And
She
said
did.
she's-
I
Right.
caught me on the road. I couldn't check it until, and then
Oh,
when I got home.
okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, I'll have to, I'll get offline and I'll email it to you. It's the best I can do right now. What email shall I use to email it to you?
Robert H. Connell.
CONNELL.
Correct.
Okay.
At yahoo.com.
All lowercase, right?
Correct. All
Okay.
string, all lowercase.
Okay. All right.
There's
I'll
John
I'm
Jennings.
gonna have to log into my office and log back in.
John's
Sorry
here.
about that.
Yeah. I'll send it now.
Thanks.
All right.
And
Yeah.
Paul. Okay,
Ta-da.
only missing Keith, but I think we'll go.
He's
ahead.
trying to get in, but he's having troubles. So,
I feel his pain. I had a lot of trouble. If he's trying to get in, we'll wait a little bit.
NBC News correspondent Leanne Caldwell is with us now from Capitol Hill. Leanne, let's start with this 2050 amendment vote. Is that measure expected to pass? And if it does, what happens?
Yes, it is expected to pass.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, thanks, Ryan.
Okay. I'm here for a later.
Yep,
I'll check in later.
all right. Keith is here, yay. So it is 6:04 p.m. and it is January 12th, 2021. And I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. Would everybody please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
To
of
the
the
flag
United States
of the
of
United States of
America
America,
and to the
to
republic
the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. I am Lynette Kelsey, Police Judge. Rob Connell,
Here.
Keith Holmes,
Here.
John Jennings,
Here.
Paul Hingen,
Here.
Mary Smith,
Here,
and Tim Allen.
Here.
Wonderful, we're all here. Agenda approval. We have a couple of items under staff reports to add. Our police, our town marshal is going to give us a report on the auto thefts that have been happening in town, and we're gonna just do a reminder on the April 5th election. Does anybody have anything else to add?
It's rigged.
Thank you, Keith. Anything else? I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and multiple times seconded to approve the agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Audience business. Members of the audience have 5 minutes to present any matter of interest not already on the agenda. I think we have at least one, possibly more. I think Anne Marie Cannon was going to speak tonight. Hi there, Anne Marie.
Hi, guys. Thanks for putting me through, Jen. I just have a story I want to tell, and you know, there was some confusion about something that happened this weekend. I was walking back from the post office, and I approached Strauss Park, and I see smoke coming out of the fire pit there, and it was like something just didn't feel right about that to me, and I wasn't sure what it was. There was like a group of people standing around. There's this fire going on, and it concerned me. And so I started to think, well, what should I do? And I felt like it's not like an emergency. I shouldn't call 911. And then I was trying to figure out who to call and that whole thing. And I didn't recognize the people that were there. So I kind of sat on a bench and I was trying to get onto the, you know, the town website to figure out, are the police even available on the weekend? Do I, you know, that whole thing went through my
No, you
head.
called John Jennings.
Oh, okay. I'll have to get your number, John. So there was that thing going on. And then I ran into another community member that I know. And I said, what do you think about that? And that person said, oh, I already called on it. So he had a direct line to one of the police officers. And one of the police officers came, and he was very respectful, and he just asked them nicely to put it out. And so I was still really confused about the whole thing because I couldn't figure out why it bothered me. And so I went to social media, and I had a whole thread, and a lot of community members kind of came in and started. It was really interesting because there were so many different perspectives about it. And, you know, a lot of people felt like, oh, they weren't doing any harm and, you know, whatever. And that whole thing. But then a couple other people came on who had experience with this. And apparently one of them sent me the burn permit, the burning permit, open burning permit. And also reminded me that we live in a National Historic Landmark District and that we're very close to a lot of old timber right there. And, you know, explained to me that you had to have the burn permit. So then it really made sense to me. And so, you know, that was my observation. And there was some wood there. So that was another one. I had a lot of people come in and say, well, there was wood there, right? So why, you know, it was a fire pit. So why can't, whatever. So my some of the things, the suggestions that I got from other community members, and I'm just kind of throwing it out there to you guys, because this probably has never happened before, or if it has, it wasn't a thing. But you know, is there a cover that we can get to put over that? Could we put signage there that explains, you know, in order to use this fire pit, you have to, whatever you have to do. I mean, it's just, it is a safety hazard, and I'm concerned about it.
Okay, I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. Thank you.
Sure.
Is there anybody else here to speak during audience business?
We don't have anybody. We have attendees. I've asked them all and they've all said
Okay.
no.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
So moving on, we have the payables from December 17th through January 7th, 2021. Well, let me rephrase that. December 17th, 2020 through January 7th, 2021. Any questions or comments on any of those payables? Yes, John.
I had some questions, probably no big deal. In the 1060-690 miscellaneous investigations law group, I didn't remember what that was supposed to be about.
That was personnel investigation that
Okay.
I authorized. So
Okay. And how about 1065-741 equipment, digger and augers? What was that for?
that's an attachment to the parks tractor.
Okay. Two more questions. Other 5140-390 other services, technical support. What are we doing with that? Is that just normal that
That is split. I'm sorry, Kent.
Go ahead, Mary.
That's the Cassell technical support for all our software for
Oh, okay.
accounting.
The financial software.
Yeah, thank you.
One last one. Sorry to bother you guys, but 5140-415 function supplies, the transferable corporate. What's that?
Those are the we got 2 Loveland passes this year instead of the 4 that were approved in the 2020 budget.
Okay, thanks. I guess I should know those names better. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
That was all I had.
Okay. Any other questions on the payables? Seeing none, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the payables as presented?
I'll make that motion.
I would second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the payables from December 17th, 2020 to January 7th, 2021 as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next we have the minutes from our December 22nd, 2020 regular meeting. Any comments, corrections?
I have one correction, believe it or not. In the audience, unless Craig has an identical named twin, we've got his name twice.
Wow.
I didn't
Okay.
know. Maybe he does.
Thanks, John.
Heaven help us.
Anybody else? I had a couple in the, okay, where are we? Under the section for ordinance 7, in the list of amendments, amendment number 4, just scratch the words with the exception, as it looks like it train of thought changed. So that'll make it read better.
Okay.
That's all I had. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the December 22nd, 2020 regular meeting as amended. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. On to new and unfinished business. First on our agenda, we have a Georgetown Liquor License Authority. 5511 Rose LLC requests a transfer of ownership of a hotel restaurant liquor license at 511 Rose Street. Who wants to start that off? And tell me if we need to convene as the liquor board.
No, this is a transfer.
Okay.
Well, yes, you need to convene as the liquor board, but it's not a public hearing.
Okay,
So I was answering a different question. Yes,
Okay.
convene as the liquor board.
okay. I would ask that we convene as the liquor board. It is 6:17 PM.
This is a transfer of ownership, and so it's not a new license, transfer of ownership. So the needs and desires of the neighborhood are not relevant. And instead, it's just a good moral character of the applicant. So we don't need to establish the needs and desires that I sometimes go through with questions. The applicant submitted a transfer application, and I had a number of concerns with it and requests for them to provide information and to correct some of the provisions of the application, which they have done. Jennifer and I worked with the applicant, and I'm satisfied with the materials that they have provided. I see that Officer Gaskins is on the line, and typically we do ask the police department if they have any objections based upon any the review that the department makes of criminal history. But in terms of the application itself and the information that's provided, now that it's been corrected, that's in good order.
Thank you, Jerry.
Excuse me, and we do have the applicants in the meeting, Ron and Terry Grady, if you'd like to.
I see that. Yeah,
We're here.
that's great. Thanks. So on behalf of the police department, is it going to be John or Marshall Williams?
I suppose I can speak. There were some irregularities on how the transfer occurred, but I'd much rather see new business open up and get more restaurants and businesses down there. So I have no objections to anything that I've seen, and I have reviewed the application.
Okay, thank you. I think the board, I don't personally know Ron or Terry, I don't think. So, yeah, if you would like to join us and say a few words, that would be wonderful.
Oh, sure. It was nice to be on a call tonight because I got off work early from the building, so that's good. Loved the town, and just kind of started the process of trying to clean up the building, and just kind of got to be a really personal and just very passionate undertaking. So I've tried to do as much as I can to just put the building right, I think, and got the original floors exposed, and that was a wonderful thing that I'll never, ever, ever, ever do again. About 200 hours with a 1-inch chisel and a hammer to kind of just gently try to clean things and get it back, but it's coming along. We're probably 30 days away from being done with the physical work and decor, and then provided that we get the licenses, we'll start pursuing the kitchen equipment and vendors, and also have a request with DRC that if once approved, will do some work at the front of the building, which I think will be really, really, really cool. So we're just excited to be in the community and just love the town, love the building.
All right. Thank you, Ron.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So without divulging trade secrets, Ron and Terry, could you give us a little overview of your concept, please?
Absolutely. So with the liquor license, we're certainly going to pursue food and beverage, but with a little bit different twist in that, and it's a concept, so we'll see if it works. But the idea in the dining area, if you will, is that anything that you can see or sit on or touch is going to be for sale. So if somebody comes in and they happen to like the table or chairs, they could purchase that. Or if they needed or wanted a bar stool, they could purchase that. If they like the decor, pictures, mirrors, different things, it'll be for sale. So that's something it's a concept I'm excited about. We'll see if it works, but I like the idea of being able to find some new and maybe different kind of things to bring into the building and have an opportunity for it to continue to change. It might change from month to month or week to week. If you simply sell a table, then I've got to go to work and go find one and try to bring something in that's different and unique and let the place change. So we've also kind of commissioned, so I think it'll be about half and half. We've commissioned about half the things that will be in there that we designed and had built. The bar that is in there is pretty neat. If anybody hasn't got to look through the windows or come by and say hello, please feel free. But the bar is the bed of a 47 Ford pickup truck. And the bar top is made out of all antique hammered out copper boilers. And so they inlaid in the top of the bar a lot of old 1920s, 1930s oil cans and things. So it's pretty unique. And the gentleman that built that's building probably another half a dozen different things for us. And then we also have a furniture vendor that we're working with that will bring in different things. So we've set up a bunch of different vendors and, hopefully it'll work. The retail side of it is probably where my passion is for today. Something I enjoy, and it's just fun to do design. So that's kind of the general idea, food and beverage with a furniture and home decor twist. So the showroom is the dining room.
So you're talking a full restaurant though, not specific, like we recently approved a liquor license for a expanded dessert bar, I suppose we could say at this point. But so you're talking lunch, dinner type, full restaurant?
We are. So that's
Okay.
that's the intent going in, is that we would like to, maybe selfishly, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It would be nice to have something open early. And I'm not always familiar with everything. I have got to get out to a few places, but I think that would be the idea. Have something that's, we think, a pretty reasonable breakfast / lunch menu, and then probably a dinner menu that's maybe a step up from maybe just normal menu. So that's kind of how we see it going at this point. And my business plan is pretty simple, right? One of my mentors once told me, do more of what works, less of what doesn't. So we'll go into it and we'll learn seasonality and hours, and we'll transition as needed. But going into it, breakfast, lunch, and kind of maybe a nicer dinner menu. Any
pie in the sky date for opening?
I wouldn't say I
Besides 2021.
Yes, 2021 would be great. Post-COVID would be wonderful. I think that if we get the license and if we get through the DRC review, I believe we will be 100% set up and done by the end of February. So that means that we could be ready to go in March or April. So, pie in the sky would be St. Patrick's Day. After that, tax day. So somewhere in there, I think. We've got to outfit the kitchen and determine what we're going to do in terms of a cook and menu. And so we've got a lot of work to do, but I think we're going to be ready to be moving in that direction in March. I really do.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Anybody else have any questions for Ron or Terry?
Will there be pie?
Will there be pie? I hope so, because I've lost about 30 pounds since I started working in that building, and my wife's getting after me. So I hope there's pie. That'd be a good thing.
That'd be good.
All right.
And if anybody, if you have a chance and you want to come by and stop by and say hello, certainly feel free. I get lots of people that stop by and share some thoughts and ideas, and it's always good.
All right, great. So on this liquor license transfer, does the board need to take just an approval action?
Yes, just a motion. I think Kent had a question though.
Okay.
I don't have a question. There was a question sent to me this afternoon by one of the board members and was asking how many liquor license do we have? If this is approved, that'll make 12. And Luch's hasn't returned, so that would make 13. And also asked, is there a published list? It's just included within our business licenses. So there isn't a separate list, and that might be something that we could provide. I don't know what the things regarding that is, but and then the last question was, is there a method to advise the public and when there's a renewal? And it's more of an administrative action when it's a renewal. It's only on new or transfer of licenses that there's a public hearing or some sort of board action regarding the renewal of a license. So unless there's some issue that comes up. And I didn't have a chance to talk to you, Jerry, about that, but does that describe it fairly well?
Yeah,
regarding that?
that's accurate. And as regards the motion, there is a motion on the agenda item page.
Right.
I do want to make a change to it. Right now it says to transfer of ownership from Rose LLC. It really is to 511 Rose LLC is the name of the applicant, as I see from the application. So it really should be a motion to approve the transfer of the liquor license to 511 Rose LLC at the 511 Rose Street location, etc. That's the motion.
I'd make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the transfer of ownership application for a hotel restaurant liquor license to 511 Rose LLC at 511 Rose Street location in Georgetown, Colorado. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thanks very much for joining us, Ron and Terry. Looking
Good luck.
forward to having you open.
Thank you much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Next, we have Ryan Zabel, our Public Works Supervisor. He is requesting a pump replacement.
Awesome.
Ryan, are you there?
Probably went to sleep.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm here.
All right, thanks. Tell us about the pump.
This is a maintenance pump that we use in our recirculation of our A basins. I have 2 trains. During the summer, I run both trains. Right now, during the winter, when the flows are down, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run both trains. Right now, during the winter, when the flows are down, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during the summer, I run 1 train. And 2 trains. And during In general, I run both these pumps all the time, and I can rotate them back and forth to keep the sludge moving and different things like that, and the bugs happy and stuff like that. When you talk about the A basins, I'm talking about the bugs, the food to mass, the entire biological system in my wastewater plant. This pump was under warranty, is being replaced by Ambient, and they've had it for almost, that was September that they took it out, and we're going to put it under warranty. And I have not got it back yet at this point. During the winter, I like to switch both basins to keep them both flowing, and I've been running just the one basin for the entire period. They have apologized numerously about the, they have another person that they're using too. It's called the company is called Willow, and they haven't been able to get the parts to replace this pump. So they've given us a opportunity to purchase a discounted pump. Roughly about 20% is the numbers I ran at it from the last one I purchased, because this particular pump has been replaced in the past. I've probably done 3 in the time I've been back from the mine in the last 7 years. So it's a pump that rotates out every 3 to 5 years. And if we're able to purchase a pump at a relatively good discount, I think there's an opportunity to get ahead of the storm like we did before on the house pump a few months back, and have one on the shelf where I can rotate these out. In budget, these are budgeted in a way, not particular that I needed to replace this one, but there's times that we need to continually upgrade or keep the plants, up to speed with the pumps that need to be replaced. So my suggestion is that this is a really good deal. It's going to be put into place at some point, and having the other one on a backup under warranty whenever they do get that repaired, then I will have another one. So that's a small story of it.
All right. Is the pump that they are offering, is it a refurbished or is it new?
It will be brand new.
Okay.
You want a motion?
Well, I just have a question. You don't have any worry about, being promised a new one and then all of a sudden a refurbished one is delivered, right?
To be honest with you guys, the only thing I have a concern about is that when you purchase a pump like this, when they're giving you a deal on it, that it may sit on the shelf past warranty. And that's just a fair thought about it. That when I do put the new one back in, I would probably put the new one back in and swap them on out. But then you have that one that sits there that could go past warranty, and it never got put in to place.
How long is the warranty?
I believe it's 24 months.
So if you put the new one in on warranty and or the new one in and run it for 24 months and leave the rebuilt one on the shelf, wouldn't that solve that problem?
That would solve the problem. And that is the plan, is putting the new one into place.
Is the one that's still in operation right now, is that still under warranty?
That one is past warranty, actually. That one
Okay.
has lasted it's into its 4th year.
Okay. And will there be any kind of warranty on the one that they're repairing?
That's a really good question that I don't have an answer for.
Usually you get 30 days on a used one, but I mean, they may have a different setup.
I agree with you on that, Rob. I think once they complete what they do within their time zone, and we are still within the 20, say we're at 22 months, once we hit 25, whatever parts that they replace at that point, I don't know, that will be warranted.
Okay.
It seems like you can work out the warranty things, run the pump for a couple months or something or whatever, and figure it out. Make sure the thing works anyway. But
Absolutely. We will put the refurbished one into place to verify the operation of it. But no, I was planning on probably putting the new one into the system and keeping the rebuild on the shelf.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll make a motion. I move to approve the purchase of a Willow recirculation pump from Ambient H2O for the amount of $4,546 and authorize the police judge to sign the associated documents in forms approved by the town attorney and town staff.
Second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of this pump. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Looks like we're buying a pump. Good deal.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Ryan.
you guys. Yep, thank you
Thanks,
so
Ryan.
much.
You bet.
Have
See you,
a
Ryan.
wonderful evening.
All right, next we have ordinance number 5, series 2020. And this is second reading and public hearing for consideration of adoption. An ordinance adopting by reference the 2020 model traffic code, providing penalties for the violation thereof and making conforming amendments to the Georgetown Municipal Code. We did have a public hearing, or not a public hearing, the first reading back,
November 24th.
okay, yes. I flipped too many pages in my packet, went too far. Yes, November 24th, and this is the second reading. Let's open the public hearing right now. It is 6:38 p.m. And who wants to give us the intro?
I'll defer to the marshal and Sergeant Gaskins in a minute for any of their comments, but this is the 2020 model traffic code, which puts the town, frankly, nice and current. There are communities out there with older versions of the model traffic code. Because you're adopting it by reference, because you don't have that whole book, because it's a thick book in your packet, you're allowed to do that. You have to have 2 readings and a public hearing, and we're following that process. And tonight is the second reading public hearing. You are required by the statute to put in full in your ordinance the penalty provisions, which are in this ordinance, as you see, and then you're allowed to just refer to the book that you're adopting by reference. You do the same thing with the uniform building codes, and you're familiar with that, and we're going to see an amendment to one of those in a minute. There aren't any other local amendments. Model traffic code, you have separately adopted that chain law ordinance that you're familiar with, but as far as the code's concerned, it's a pretty clean adoption. I don't know if Sergeant Gaskins or the marshal want to add.
Unless there are any
Gives them
questions.
the current version of the book to be writing tickets against.
Yeah, unless there are any questions, it's mostly a routine step we take every number of years just to try to stay current with the most current version of what's the model traffic code, which is used by municipalities and counties across statewide, rather than issuing fines and revenue into the state coffers. It will go into the town coffers.
Do we have any comments from the public? Since this is a public hearing. If you do want to make a comment, please do indicate that in the chat, and Jennifer can promote you and allow you to speak. Wait just a minute or so more. I don't see anybody coming on board. Or okay. Seeing none, I think we will move on. I will close the public hearing. It is 6:41. And any comments or questions from the board? I just had one on the ordinance itself in almost at the end, section 3, under, it's about the town clerk shall cause at least one certified copy of the code adopted by reference to be in her office. And I think we should make that gender neutral.
Okay. We'll make it the town office.
Okay. Anything else? There is a recommended motion in the packet if anybody would like to make one.
Like my speaker's on. I move to approve ordinance number 5, series 2020, an ordinance adopting by reference the 2020 model traffic code, providing penalties for the violation thereof, and making conforming amendments to Georgetown Municipal Code, and post at 2 locations and on the town website.
I'll second that.
Second.
With the correction that was discussed.
With the correction that was discussed.
Okay. Is that okay with the second?
That's,
Which one do you want to
seconded.
pick?
Pardon, Tim?
I think Tim wins.
Okay.
Go Tim.
Whichever. All right. It's been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 5, series 2020 on second reading. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And next we have ordinance number 1, series 2021. This is first reading. An ordinance amending Georgetown Municipal Codes 15.44.010, the International Residential Code concerning Table R 301.2, Parent 1. And I see we have Dan Wester here from Safe Built as our expert and can answer questions about what's being proposed. Kent, do you want to make any intro or just have Dan
No,
take it away?
Just provided a summary as part of the staff report, the reasoning behind this, but Dan probably has can provide some additional information why this is requested. So it's just basically changing. There's a table of the exceptions of the International Residential Code within the Georgetown Town Code. This chart is listed in the Georgetown Town Code, and there's a couple changes to this chart. The biggest one was the wind speed and then also the snow load. And then Dan, you can describe what's the reasoning to put this in place. So.
Good evening, everybody. We looked at this a few years back, and it was something that Kent and I kind of adopted. It was given to us by others previous to us. The ground snow load and the roof snow load and the wind have been in there since the adoption of the 2003 code cycle, and it needs to be updated with the current studies they have done as far as wind models for 50-year, 100-year, 500-year, have really raised a lot of eyebrows in the insurance companies out there when they are paying for roofs and sidings and things like that are affected by the forces of the wind. And we just wanted to make sure that we were updated. It really doesn't change a whole lot. The 100-mile-an-hour with 3-second gust, when you do the math, it does convert it to what we're proposing to have written in there. Well, actually, it converts it to about 130. So we're proposing to go to 140-mile-an-hour ultimate, which I provided a table in there, the conversion table. So it's not that big of a jump. And when you're talking about, let's say that we had to go from 100 to 130 as an ultimate, it goes from a 4-nail shingle to a 6-nail shingle, which up there with the conversion at 130, right now they're already doing a 6-nail. So it's not going to be at a cost to our contractors or homeowners. It just brings our table into today's language of the current codes. They use ultimate now instead of giving them the option to do the math, because people were looking at that and they weren't converting it and thinking that they could buy a lower rated product. So we ran into a lot of confusion during phone calls and talking with contractors and insurance companies. So we were there, but they just had to do the math. So we were just changing this wind speed. And then while we were doing it, we also updated the ground and roof snow loads to represent our current snow models.
Does it change the structure of the shingle itself? Do they have to be laminated shingles or glass backed or?
No. Like I said, the product itself, the ASTM models on a lot of those products out there already meet these. It's just a difference of how many nails it gets.
Okay.
Down on the valley floor, we can get away with a 4-nail. Up in the mountains there, we need a 6-nail.
Yep.
I had a question. I've always been of the understanding that ground snow load and roof snow load are not the same thing. And there's an equation to get from one to the other. I'm curious as to why they're both 60 pounds per square foot.
Snow load is snow load. We don't give a reduction. We will give a reduction quite possibly on a steel roof where it can slide off, but they're going to have to show that. They're going to have to show how that's going to work out for them. For the most part, we do not give a reduction from ground to roof. Snow is snow. And okay, let me back up too. And this is in the International Residential Code. The International Residential Code is set up where a person could buy that code and build his or her own home with that book prescriptively. Okay. And then the IBC, the International Building Code for commercial projects, is set up where engineers, they have all the different equations on the effects of different elements on their particular building, on what they're building. So if somebody wanted to go out and hire an engineer to give us a plan review and a set of documents that have been engineered, we would look at it that way. But this is set up where somebody could open this book with these tables in here and build this building prescriptively in your community and not have a problem. So they don't have to bear the expense of an architect or an engineer if they so choose not to use it.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions on this? For Dan?
In the current code, the chart just mentions snow load. It does not differentiate between ground and roof. And that was one of the reasons why it was separated out here, is to have both of them listed.
Okay. All right.
Why would the ground load, snow load be important?
You're going to have probably not a lot unless you're dealing with like a deck.
Oh, okay. So that would apply to the building, a flat outside purpose
Correct.
roof.
Right.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Okay.
I know somewhere we had mentioned what it was or what it is right now up until this change, but can someone remind me of what those figures were and what we're changing it to on the roof?
Yeah, I've got that pulled up here. Let me go back to that document.
So I know how many
In the
more
2000
nails I need to go and put on.
Yeah, the 2003 and our table was ground snow load of 75 and roof 45, and the wind was 100.
I guess I don't understand going back to the 2003 table, because when we adopted the 2015
We missed it.
codes, I don't remember missing it.
Okay. It was something that.
Okay.
I will own
Not
that.
in the ordinance?
No, when we presented the documents for adoption, it was in my notes to change, and I didn't get it changed.
Ah, okay.
So I will own that right out.
Actually, I'm trying to bring it up within the code. There is a, it does show 1544.
Your Muni code, Kent?
Yes. Yes, it does have the current chart within the Muni code, and I can share the screen to show that, I think. That it shows the roof snow load at 75, shows the wind speed as 100, and it doesn't show VALT or VASD or anything like that. It just shows 100. And then it shows the winter design temp zone of 13 and not instead of 1 degree. It's actually zone 13, but then you have to go look at a different table what's zone 13. So that's the changes from the chart that's in the ordinance. And then you add the climate zone 5 at the end of it, which there's nothing here for that.
Right.
So this is the table R301.2 parenthesis 1.
So according to the studies that you're looking at, we don't need the 75 pounds per square foot for the roof snow load?
No. And let me, because of our climate zone and our demographics of Colorado, we get a lot of sunshine. A lot of these were because it's international. And a lot of this stuff was carried over from the UBC, and they changed over to the IBC in 2000. A lot of this stuff is, you think of snow accumulation on a roof in, let's say, Green Bay, Wisconsin, compared to here in Colorado. You know, that's some severe, I mean, once it snows there, some of that stuff can stay for the entire season. It can really build up. So some of the snow and wind models, because of technology over the past, 50, 30, 20, 10 years have really got up to speed with current areas. So back in the day, snow load was snow load. So they brought it around to the demographics. And there is a study for your area.
Okay. All right.
So I just had a question. On the table, it says subject to damage from. Now, only until Kent shared his table did I realize what those blanks mean. But, subject to damage from, you see what I mean?
Mhm.
What? Damage from what?
I'm looking at.
There it is. It's severe. Weathering. Frost line depth.
Oh, that should be in that chart. Thank you, Rob.
It got cut off.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. That was a good catch.
Yes, it is.
We'd be back here again because I whiffed on that. Yeah, when we typed this up, it probably just didn't roll down.
It's impressive, Rob. I'm impressed.
Yep.
Way to go, Rob.
Okay. Any other comments or questions, corrections? Okay.
So, I can see something in here that's missing. Rob, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Is that subject to damage from weathering is severe. Our frost depth, that's 42 inches. We need to make sure that, those comments that didn't make it down, they're missing too. So our frost depth is 42.
Yeah, it's there.
And the other one is should have been, subject to damage from weathering.
Termites.
Yeah, and then frost depth would be, and then termite is slight to moderate.
Mhm.
So those,
Yeah.
all three of those column headings under slight to damage from, and then it'd been weathering, frost, and termite. Those three things are missing.
Yep.
Now, decay doesn't have anything under it, right?
Says none to slight.
Yeah.
You ought to spend a day with me.
Do we really have termites here?
Ants.
They come with jackets.
Oh, okay, and little earmuffs?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I guess I didn't think we had the climate for that.
Yeah.
Except they have jackets.
So, I'm wondering where we got climate zone 5 though.
It sounds like a planting guide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different than what trees to plant. It's more energy code related. And I was under the impression that everything in Clear Creek County was climate zone 7, according to the chart in the IRC.
Everything that I have found, I'll double check that, but everything I've looked at, we are climate zone 5. If you look at the energy code, then you'll follow it to the map, and then the energy code, the international energy code.
Yep.
If you'll go there, it will take you to, we're in climate zone 5. The only climate near would be way up in Netherlands because they just get the wind and the elevation that they're at. They're 7. Netherlands is 7.
And Clear Creek is 7.
in your maps?
Yeah.
Let's check that. And that's the 2000, what version do you have there?
15.
Okay. All right. Let me double check that because the last time I looked it up, and maybe I was looking at it wrong, but I could have swore we were 5. I have an electronic version of it. Let me pull it up real
Okay.
quick.
All right.
Don't worry, right now we're only gusting at 21.
I was surprised we had wind.
I know. 21 is nothing in Georgetown.
21. That's nothing.
Stop complaining about your hurricane in Florida.
You can't even get the ice boats going very fast at 21.
I know. It's like,
Let's not bother.
nothing.
John, will you go get my trash can out of the Hamel House yard?
It went through my Airstream.
I have them on my desktop. I'm digging them out here
Okay.
on my laptop.
We'll hum the Jeopardy music.
In the meantime, we'll plan the kite festival on the lake.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's good that this is first reading because what we'll do is make these corrections before it gets posted. And then there will be second reading, so we'll have the opportunity to have those out to everyone and the board. So just vamping for time while Dan's looking for that. When we get ready for the motion, we can just add at the end of the motion with the corrections to the table as discussed, rather than rattling through them all. But we'll make sure, I think it will be important to get a draft of that revision circulated amongst Kent and myself, and maybe you, Lynette, and Dan and Rob, since he's the guy.
Go, Rob.
Because it is detailed, and I who knows, it may be the one we word process it in my office, something fell off too. So we'll take the extra time to make sure the version that gets posted is the corrected version. Did I make enough time for you there, Dan?
Oh, I'm still clicking away here.
I'm running out of material, Dan.
How about if we say as corrected and discussed?
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to send over your copy of that, and I will dig out mine and we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a recommended motion in the packet, and Jerry has provided us with the additional wording that will be needed. Would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion. But Jerry, help me. I move to approve the ordinance number 1, series 2021, an ordinance amending Georgetown Municipal Code section 15.44.010. The International Residential Code concerning table R 301.2 parentheses 1 on first reading and posted 3 locations and on the town website.
With the addition of the corrections as noted by the board and staff during first reading.
I'll second.
Perfect.
Right, you guys.
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 1, series 2021. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes, and this was first reading. Okay. Thank you, Dan, for joining us and answering questions for us. That's
Well,
great.
thank you for all your questions. And, there's wisdom and counsel in this.
There is. All right. Agenda item number 5 is resolution number 1, series 2021. A resolution of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Georgetown designating public places for the posting of notices concerning town of Georgetown public meetings. And this is something we do annually just to codify where we post things and make things official. And as you see, I did notice though in the last motion, it referred to 3 places and the website. And I think the resolution number 1 says 2 places. So we should probably figure that out.
We've
Yeah,
lost
if
one of
I
our
may.
places. Oh, go ahead, Jennifer. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we were always posting it at town hall and at the library and the website. We would post it at the library just as like a courtesy, but I mean, they've been closed.
Right.
It should be 2 posting places and the website.
Right.
Doesn't the website count as 1? Because if you have 2 in the website,
It's the
that's
post
3.
office town hall, and the website.
Right.
So
Which totals 3 places, but the resolution, the motion that we just did said 3 places and the website. So it was referring to town hall, the post office, and the library, which was traditional, but with the library being closed, it no longer is actually an official site. It's a courtesy site.
Could the community center be one site?
It's not always open.
Right.
Uh,
Keith,
you-
this house, how about that?
You're not required to have 3, and the town traditionally has always had that many, but you can have fewer, and I think it's probably right now the motion and the resolution read correctly this year, but Lynette is right in referring to the fact that in the past we've mentioned 3. Probably time to just embrace post office and the town hall and the website, and that'd be
Right.
the system.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in section 1 of the resolution, it repeats the town website twice. So I think we just need to get rid of that repeat of the posting at the website.
I'll strike that last sentence.
Okay. So, any questions or discussion? If not, there is a suggested motion in your packet.
I move to approve Resolution 1, Series 2021, a resolution of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Georgetown, Colorado, designating public places for the posting of notices concerning town of Georgetown public meetings.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 1, series 2021. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. And next we move on to resolution number 2, series 2021. A resolution of the Board of Selectmen for the town of Georgetown, Colorado, amending fees on the fee schedule. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Selectmen. Wait, that doesn't need to be part of the resolution title, is it? No. Does that wording need to be part of the title?
no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It shouldn't be in either the agenda item title or frankly the resolution title. It's just kind of extra. Both of them need to stop after wastewater.
Okay.
Why not include water and sewer? It's very important.
So does the line just drop down as the,
Yes.
okay,
Whatever, but
got it. Okay.
Yeah. we'll make certain that the correction is made.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments? All right, then there is a recommended motion in your packet.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, I move to approve resolution number 2, series 2021, a resolution of the Board of Selectmen for the Town of Georgetown, Colorado, amending fees on the fee schedule, not including water and wastewater. Therefore, it be resolved by the Board of Selectmen for Georgetown, Colorado.
It ends after after the word wastewater.
Therefore, be it resolved by the
No.
Selectmen.
Nope, strike that.
Stop.
Backtrack, rewind.
Sorry. Stop at wastewater?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll
Full
second
stop.
it as amended.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 2, series 2021 as corrected. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 7, renewal of project management contract with Cindy Neely. I believe she's in the audience. She was earlier. Kent, do you
Please,
want to-
Judge. Yeah. Lynette, members of the board, this is a annual contract or project management contract with Cindy Neely. She does some important things for the town that helps town hall staff tremendously with various projects. Within the contract itself, it does list as far as the scope of work, and in number 2 or within it describes the scope of work and functions, and then also the 3 items that Cindy and I had talked about as priorities for 2021 if they can happen, but they generally fall into different areas involved with grants or with the state historical fund and historic preservation for different things in town, and helps town staff tremendously. I guess I said that twice. I'm repeating myself
You
now.
can't
so
say
I
it enough.
should probably
Yeah,
stop.
can't-
So, yeah, I'm so grateful that we have you as a resource, Cindy, and that you're willing to continue to do this. It's wonderful. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Lynette,
Yes.
Kent did send me this contract, and it's fine. There
Okay.
were a few things that I wanted to just make more clear. There's nothing substantive, but I'm not sure what the best way to do this is, but I might just take some time to do a Q&A with Cindy to confirm a few things.
Okay.
And if that all works for you and for Cindy, then we can make some minor edits to the contract, but you can get it approved for the discussion. Is that all right? I don't want to cut off any discussion of that Cindy might have. Cindy, are you there?
She was here.
She
and then
was, and she
dropped.
just dropped off.
I'm all right with that.
Maybe she'll come back. She just dropped off, right?
Yeah.
It's odd.
The computer may have quit or something else.
Yeah.
So
Do we have another agenda item after that we could take, and then
I'm sure we can find it. Yeah.
maybe do the commission appointments and come back to this? Because
Yes.
I would like her to be able to hear what I'm suggesting. I don't think
Sure.
she'll have a problem with any of it. It's just that it would be more fair if she were to hear it.
Certainly. So let us do that, just that. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, which is commission renewal appointments. We have Kevin Kuharek, who is has expressed interest in continuing to serve on Business Promotions Commission. Sean Plett would like to continue on Design Review Commission, and Ed Hoover would like to continue serving on the Planning Commission. And I thank them for their service and appreciate their willingness to continue to serve. Anybody else have any comments, or would you like to make a motion to approve those reappointments?
I move to approve the following renewal commission appointments for Kevin Kuharik on the Business Promotion Commission, Ed Hoover on the Planning Commission, and Sean Plett on the Design Review Commission.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve all three commission reappointments. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was probably too quick.
I texted her and I haven't gotten a reply, Lynette, so I don't know.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to staff items. We can always come back. So under COVID update, did you have anything, Kent?
No.
Okay, just to let the rest of the board know where the different COVID committees are, the CARES Act Funding Committee is continuing to monitor. They're trying to wrap up the grant disbursements. They did get an extension of time on those grants, and they're trying to wrap that all up and consolidate their reports and pull all that together. And so that group will be meeting on an as needed basis. The Resiliency Committee Collaborative is going to, instead of meeting every week, they are meeting 2 times a month on the first and the third Wednesdays of the month. And that's just to kind of keep the gears churning. We're the collaborative, Alyssa is going to be continuing to look for other funding opportunities, the grants and different funds available for resiliency and recovery. So we felt it wasn't needed to continue meeting weekly. So just to keep everybody informed. Since Cindy has returned, let's go ahead and jump back to agenda item number 7. And we may have lost you before Jerry was done with his proposal, so I'll let him repeat.
Hi, Cindy. Nice to have you back. If you can hear me, I think you can. Your mic is muted. If you can unmute, I just have a couple quick questions, Cindy.
She didn't want to talk to you.
Apparently not. Cindy, you're still muted.
I
There we go.
handle
I'm
the
not
witness
muted
with
now.
who's hostile.
Now you're good.
Okay.
Yes.
Cindy, if you got a minute, this is Jerry. Just a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
On the scope of work, I'm on the first page of the contract.
Yes.
The scope of work, letter 2A, seek biz coordination for maintenance contract for the town-owned streetlights. I'm assuming that those are the streetlights on 6th Street between Main and Argentine. Is that?
Those are the street lights on Argentine Street from 15th to 6th.
Okay.
To begin with, and then I think that Kent and I talked about continuing to pursue the inquiry for the light with Excel for the lights on 6th Street. But at this point, as you well know, we have been doing a dance with Excel
Yes,
about
we have.
those.
Okay, so the main focus, at least for this next year, is the on Argentine.
Right,
15th to
right,
6th.
the gateway lights, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad we talked about that because I was thinking 6th Street, but you're right for that reason. It might be helpful on letter 2C. It says investigate the cost of final design needs of finishing the bike trail from 11th to Loop Drive along Argentine, perhaps up Loop Drive, meaning that's an alternative, or that would be in the scope of work.
Well, it would depend on what happens and what the expense looks like for the drainage coming down Loop Drive. Because we have some adjustments to make to the plans that we have. So that would be dependent upon financial resources, Jerry.
But your scope of work would be to investigate the
whole
cost
thing.
of that.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I understand that it may or may not get built, but this scope of work is you consulting on.
Yeah, I've got to
Gotcha.
do the whole thing. Yes.
Okay, terrific. On paragraph,
Can I interject here before you go on off of that one? Is that, do we already have a design for the section of Argentine from 15th to 11th?
We have a design, Lynette, but that one is a really very, very expensive major undertaking that I suspect is going to include some outside funding because of drainage questions, major drainage questions in that area, and because of the relationship, as you know, to the slope of land. Now, and it includes everything from moving the bus stop. So that one is a huge nut to crack. The real danger at this point for the bikes is not between 15th and 11th because the road is wide enough and there is sort of to strip on the side for them. The danger to the bikes is between 11th and Loop Drive, where where they have to be on the road.
Right.
And the road has narrowed at that point.
Right. Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
just two other minor things then. Cindy, on the second page, paragraph 7, you're going to be billing the time or the town as you perform the work at an hourly rate, and it with a maximum of it looks like 8,500. It says per year, and I'd suggest we strike per year because the term of this contract per paragraph 3 is the year calendar year 2021. And as you know, we can't commit the town to a multi-year contract without putting in a Tabor savings clause. The easy fix is just to delete per year. I think that makes it consistent with paragraph 3, which says this contract ends on December 31, 2021. If you're all right with that.
Fine. Oh, absolutely, yes. I mean,
Terrific.
it's for 2021.
Great. The only other thing I had, I noticed you've got it at an hourly rate. Are there any expenses or travel that you need to charge? Right now, all we've got is an hourly rate for you and no provision for expenses.
No, I have never charged the town travel expenses, and given I live 2 blocks from town hall, most of the time there's not much consideration to travel. Jerry, I've just decided that just complicates everything. What the town does do is periodically gives me a ream of paper.
Okay. Thank you, Cindy. And I apologize for doing this in this forum. I didn't have the chance to make some edits and email them ahead of time, but I appreciate your helping me out.
Not a problem. And what I did was, because I was leaving you guys sitting off to the side, I picked up the computer to move it and I bumped it. And so I lost you all. So I apologize, or I would have been right there.
It's all right.
It worked out. Unless the board's got questions, I can suggest that the motion would be, of course, to approve the contract as presented with the changes agreed by the town attorney and Cindy Neely on the record.
I have one more small edit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, under the signature lines, if we could change consultant to contractor, since that's how she's referred to in the rest of the contract.
Very good. We'll do that.
Okay,
I'll still make,
I think I heard
go for it, John.
the motion.
yep, I agree with Jerry's correction of the motion.
Okay,
As amended.
Sounds,
and who provided the second?
Sound like Keith.
I did.
Okay, thank you. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract, professional services contract with Cindy Neely and the town of Georgetown for 2021. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. Thank you
Thank
again,
you.
Cindy.
thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We have our town marshal, Marshall Williams, here to tell us a little bit about what's going on in his world here in Georgetown lately.
I think it was more particular than just what's going on in my world, but excuse me, just came back in from the cold. The easy way to say it is we're not in Kansas anymore. We really don't have the luxury of leaving our vehicles unlocked, and especially with the keys in them. I think I was called in tonight or last minute put on to kind of give a response to our recent rash of auto thefts and auto burglaries. And since we'll go all the way back to August when we had our first auto theft. And since then, we have had 5. I guess we could even call it 6. There is some particular details of one of them that makes it probably not part of the rash. And then we've had another, we'll go with 4 reported, what we call a criminal trespass, which is somebody getting into an unlocked car and rifling through it. I imagine though that number is very likely higher. We just don't have them reported to us if people aren't missing anything. The majority of them happened late October, early November, up until last week. From what somebody was discussing with me earlier in the day, local Facebook page put it out that it happened as recently as last night, but I think they were describing one that occurred in the middle of last week. We have some evidence on the recovered vehicles that's been submitted for forensic examination. This is a problem not specific to Georgetown. All along the I-70 corridor, auto thefts in the metro area are up several 100%. Idaho Springs has very similar numbers to ours as far as their auto thefts and their auto burglaries. Empire is not immune. We are in communication with police agencies in Summit County who are going through the same problems. And we're kind of putting it all together to see if we have common denominators. Unfortunately, the big common denominator we have here in Georgetown are the cars are unlocked and keys are left in them. We haven't had a lot of forced entries into the vehicles. They're just, there's a Facebook page in Idaho Springs that shows unknown person, unidentified person going door to door until they find unlocked cars. And I imagine we're having the same thing happen. So that's the current state of affairs. Our biggest crimes that so far in the last couple of months have been these. The cars are recovered in various places. There's the most recent one. We don't have information about that being recovered yet. But beyond that, we're still looking at what some of our commonalities are between the vehicles. Sergeant Gaskins is putting together a lot of statistics, and like I said, he's taken items down for forensic evaluation, see if we can find DNA, see if we can find fingerprints, and see if that's going to come in line with some of the other jurisdictions and what they're finding. So that's the quick, brief overview of what we have going on. I'm happy to address any questions, and Sergeant Gaskins is certainly available and can give much better definitive answers.
Do we have a time frame of occurrence on these?
We had our
first.
You mean when they occur?
Yeah, like between the hours of midnight and 8 a.m. or 3 p.m. to 9 p.m.
We are doing our extra patrols. I don't want to put out a ton in a public forum, but we are adjusting our patrols throughout different hours at night, and they are happening overnight. Some that we've narrowed down have been as late as 4:30 to 5:30 in the mornings. The others we don't have narrowed down. One of the earlier ones, which we don't know if that's related to our current rash, that was all the way back in early August. They don't know when their car was taken. At least they're not able to narrow it down. They're not able to narrow it down that the keys were in it or not, but there was no damage or no indication that the keys were not in it when it was recovered. We have another one of that manner where they didn't believe the keys were left in it, but it was recovered with a key to the vehicle in it. So mostly middle of the night, later on, I'd say even past 1 or 2, but we are adjusting our patrols to all kinds of different hours and spending a lot of time out in the middle of the night.
Any
So
particular type of
Thanks
car?
for doing that.
on the
Would you
full
say-
moon nights, it's wonderful.
Mhm.
I love working at night, actually. I wish my duties didn't require me there to be around during the day, because every time I'm out, it reminds me how much I like being out at night.
Is there any particular part of town that is more affected than others? For example, density of cars is more dense in condos and apartment complexes versus single family homes?
There is, and mostly it would be Ward 2. Don't know why. We've had one up in Ward 3. All the rest would be considered in Ward 2. There have been some occurrences. We've only had one in Georgetown where catalytic converters are being cut off of the vehicles. They've lost several in Idaho Springs. They've lost catalytic converters off of parked unattended vehicles in Empire and in the county. Don't know if this is a local problem with some new residents that we have in town that are taking advantage of the quietness of our town. Don't know if it's our proximity, just being on the Interstate 70 corridor. We're just, it happens at all hours, some as early as 9:10 p.m., some as late as 5:30 in the morning. And being out several times till 6 in the morning, it gets very active in town. between 5:30 and 6. There are a lot of people that their lives have them up and out. So
Any particular type of car?
absolutely not. Mostly not nice cars.
Wait a minute.
I don't want to say not nice cars. They're not newer models with easier push button fobs to lock them. But like I said, the common denominator is we haven't had any forced entries into the cars. And unfortunately, we're coming from a mentality. I have my own anecdotes. That's where I would always have my keys, is in my car.
Right.
And we're just not at that stage we can do that anymore. So we've sent out, we have the first billing in Jennifer's weekly newsletter. We're considering just a complete town mailing in some bigger, better, brighter colors to ask people to kind of change some habits. But no, they are not. Some of the cars have been newer models, but there is no range.
John, you better check the catalytic converter on your Hudson.
I'll get right on it.
I did see a couple of variable message boards down in the metro area that were telling people to lock their cars because it's happening down there. It's happening all up the corridor. So, all right.
I loved it when we were immune to it and they just passed on. I think it's because we did all this building and we have more lights in Georgetown. So as they drive by, they see there's more going on here. That's what I blame it on.
Okay.
Are they stealing these cars for the catalytic converters, or is that separate?
It's not the most common factor. We've had a catalytic converter taken without the car. We've had a vehicle taken where it was taken. We've had vehicles taken to random areas and just abandoned. They are not being stripped. Some of them are just being used for transportation because we have no Uber system up here likely, and found in the metro area with minimal damage. We don't have such a commonality that we can dial that in.
Okay.
So we are making a lot of efforts at trying to solve the problem. And much as we appreciate being able to add another officer on, that's only going to help us minimally. When we do finally find the right person, it's not always as easily said as done. We are adjusting our patrol schedules so they're not as predictable. We're, like I said, we're collecting evidence when we can. We're communicating with many other agencies on what we have in common. So somebody who's doing this in Dillon or Silverthorne might be connected with somebody who's doing it here in Idaho Springs.
Okay. Appreciate the warning and the heads up and all the hard work you guys do.
So I wish we weren't even having the topic come up, but there we are.
So it is. So it is. All right. Any other questions on this? Then I just wanted to remind everybody that election petitions are available at Town Hall. We do have 3 selectmen positions, 1 in each ward, and the police judge is up for re-election. So spread the word. The petitions need to be turned in by the 22nd, which is a week from this Friday. So it's kind of a short time frame, and hoping to get some folks stepping forward and wanting to serve. Any other staff items that we need to cover? Nope. Okay. In that case, we've reached the end of our regular meeting. We need to go into executive session at this time. And who are you gonna have do the?
It should be John. If John has that motion, do you have the motion, John?
I don't have the one that I print, that need to be printed off. I've got the one that says for a conference under section. Let me
That's
just
right.
read that. Does that work fine for you?
Yeah, as long as it ends with for a personnel matter evaluation of the town administrator. Does it end with that?
It doesn't, but I'll put it in there.
Yeah, that's probably fine. I'll correct it on the record if it's the wrong one, but it should be for legal advice and not instruct negotiators, legal advice in a personnel matter.
I got that one. Okay.
That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one.
Executive session for a conference under section 24-6-402, paren 4, paren B, and paren F, and paren L, CRS with the town attorney, town administrator, and appropriate staff to receive legal advice and consideration of a personnel matter, annual evaluation of the town administrator. Is that what you want?
That's the one.
Okay.
There's more to it. I further move to return to the open meeting to take any actions deemed necessary.
Thank you.
That too.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Jennifer has sent out a Zoom link that's just for this session. And does everyone have that?
Yeah, I was trying to use that to get into this.
Yeah. So if everybody's got that Zoom link, Lynette, tell us when you want us to show back up.
Do you need a 5 or 10 minute break? 5?
5.
Okay, 5 it is.
I don't have that link. If somebody could send that link to me, that'd be great.
Jennifer,
Okay, we'll send it to you. We'll send it to you, Rob.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
See you soon.
Great, thank you.